Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of ecoLEAD, where we take all that sciencey stuff about our planet and break it down into bite-sized bits that everyone can understand and apply to their daily lives. As usual, I try as much as I can to start every episode, although I've not succeeded, with a good news. And so, the good news today is that 45% of younger people, Gen Z, now prefer buying second-hand clothing. And I'm not surprised that someone is looking at me weird and be like, what's wrong with this guy? How is young people buying second-hand clothes a good news for anyone? Well, we'll get into that, but first, this survey looked at 3,654 consumers or users in the United States of America, and they found that second-hand clothing market is expected to nearly double by 2027 due to a generational shift towards second-hand clothing. Let me put that in simpler language. So, because young people, Gen Z, are beginning to think it's better to use second-hand clothing, the second-hand clothing market would double by 2027. That's exciting, and I'll tell you why it's exciting. Let's take a closer look at the fashion industry. Perhaps you would see where the excitement is coming. The fashion industry currently is responsible for 8 to 10% of global emission. That's more than the aviation and the maritime shipping sector combined. And over 92 million tons of waste is produced by this industry every year. It doesn't end there. 79 trillion liters of water is what this industry consumes every year. And when I say water, I'm talking about fresh, scarce water. Some people will be wondering, what does it mean, fresh, scarce water? Wait until you live in one of those countries where people are dying for water. Then you would understand where that is coming from. Now, if we imagine each ton of waste as one elephant, the African savannah elephant, we're looking at 14 million huge male elephants. That's how much waste this industry generates per year. Now, can you imagine 14 million elephants scattered around? That's how much waste we're talking about. To put it in perspective, the biggest male African savannah elephants can weigh up to 6,800 kilograms. And an average human, well-fed human, would be weighing about 82 kilograms. I know there are a couple of us who weigh more than that. Let's say average, 82 kilograms. So one elephant would be approximately 83 male human adults. That's how much waste this industry generates per year. So you forgive me for getting a bit excited that young people, the next generation, are beginning to make a move that would significantly reduce this impact of the industry. Let's look closely again at 79 trillion liters of water annually that I mentioned earlier. That is a staggering volume of water. To make one t-shirt, just one t-shirt, it is estimated that they would require about 2,700 liters of water. That's enough water to fill about 30 bathtubs. 10,000 liters of water, that's what is required for one pair of trousers. And even to get a pair of socks, we're looking at 600 liters of water. So for you to get dressed up in that fancy t-shirt, that sleek trouser, and that pair of socks, we're looking at about 13,300 liters of water. That's about 44 standard bathtubs full of water. So if you have this consciousness, it will not be as easy for you to just chuck those away after summer and then do a new shopping for winter. And then once winter is past, you chuck those away and get some new ones. Because I know several people who do that. So in summer, shop for summer. And once summer is past, they dump those away and then get new things for winter. So if you know how much water, how much volume of water lays its life down for you to wear that shirt, perhaps you would think twice before getting rid of them. If we move to farmland, cotton, which most of us would say is the alternative, the more sustainable alternative to synthetic polymers, use up to 2.5% of the world's farmland. And someone would just say, okay, then why not just go back to the synthetic alternatives? Then that's polyester. Well, you need an estimated 342 million barrels of oil each year to make that. And it doesn't just end there. Cloth production processes such as dyeing would require about 43 million tons of chemical annually. So the list goes on and on. And one major driver of this problem is fast fashion, which involves a quick turnover of fashion trends and the move towards cheap, mass-produced clothing in the name of fast fashion. Globally, around 56 million tons of clothing are bought each year, and this is expected to rise to 93 million tons by 2030 and 160 million tons by 2050. So let me give the statistics a rest, because I'm sure your head would be a bit shaky now considering all the numbers we've been throwing out. But the summary, the long and short of what we're saying is the impact of the fashion industry on the environment is huge. So every little helps. And so what can I, as an individual, do? Obviously, from the result of this study, if you consider using second-hand clothing, that would make a lot of difference. The study actually reports that buying and wearing second-hand clothing instead of new would reduce emission by an average of 25%. And it's also interesting to see that the ability to buy and sell pre-loved stuff has become very, very easy with the ability to sell clothes and buy online. In particular, companies like Depop, Depop, or Depop.com, Vinted, Vinted.co.uk, and even eBay are places where young people can sell their clothes or even buy second-hand clothes without having to go through the hassle of looking for where to buy. If I use myself as an example, the shirt I'm actually wearing now, I bought it over 6 years ago, second-hand, and it's actually looking very good even as I speak. So it's good for my pockets, and it's also good for the planet. Another study by Leeds University and Arup has also shown that using a maximum of 8 new items a year could reduce fashion's emission by 37% in the world's major cities. So if you live in one of those major cities of the world, London, Paris, New York, if you restrict yourself to buying only 8 new fashion items per year, we together could actually reduce the emission of the industry by 37%. And 8 should be good enough. I mean, if you pick carefully, a shirt, a trouser, before you know what's happening, 8 things for a year. And after that year, you could either sell them or keep them, which means the next year you have 16, to wear. So it makes it a lot easier. So what I hope I have achieved today is to help you understand or help you think about the impact of the clothes you wear. And so every time you're thinking of changing them or every time you're thinking of dressing, you just ask yourself that simple question of, what's the impact of this thing I'm doing on the planet? That way, we'll begin to move gradually towards improving the condition of our planet. So join the revolution, reduce your footprints, and keep rocking that old shirt or trouser that you've had for years. Trust me, it looks really, really good on you. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. It looks good on you. It's good for the planet, and it's also good for your pocket. So keep rocking. ecoLEAD is brought to you by Onoja Simeon. Music is by bensound.com. And please don't forget to check us out on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also on YouTube, where you can see some handy visuals to